This is KGW News at noon.
That's an ongoing conversation that we'll have every minute of every day. Does it make sense that those orders are still in place? And can we relax those, change those? They have not been changed in any way at this point.
Thousands of people in Maine are still under orders to stay at home more than 36 hours after the worst mass murder in the state's history. Police are still searching for the suspected shooter, Robert Card. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Brittany Folkers. Card is accused of killing 18 people and injuring 13 more. Alice Barr explains where the investigation stands right now.
An urgent manhunt for suspected mass murderer Robert Card growing in scale and intensity. Investigators today sending dive teams into the river next to where his car was found parked. Just one area of focus in a vast search.
All of our partners have been continuing to work 530 plus tips and leads.
Until he's found, tens of thousands remain under shelter-in-place orders. Card is suspected of killing at least 18 people and injuring 13 more in a Lewiston bowling alley and a nearby restaurant and bar. Survivors describing the terror.
I almost wish that I was up closer to him when he came in, because every time I close my eyes, I visualize myself attacking him.
Grief-stricken families can't begin to describe the loss.
The world lost a great girl, and I lost a precious daughter.
A family member of the 40-year-old suspect says he struggled recently with acute mental health issues. Card is a longtime Army reservist, and officials tell NBC News he threatened a military base and was sent by his own commanders to a mental health facility in July.
That should have triggered the yellow flag law, and he should have been separated from his weapons.
As the community reels from Maine's worst mass murder in history, now a lifetime of heartbreak for each victim taken. As investigators look for a motive for this horrible act, they may have one significant clue. Multiple law enforcement sources telling NBC News there was a note found in the suspect's home. They've been analyzing that to see how it might direct their investigation. In Lewiston, Maine, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This afternoon, the Portland man accused of planning a mass shooting at Smith Rock is due in court. Court documents lay out the case against 39-year-old Samson Garner. Investigators say he sent concerning text messages and emails to friends. In one email, he was quoted as saying, "I fantasize daily about murder, death, and vengeance." He also mentioned how easy it would be to kill people at a rock climbing festival called the Cragen Classic at Smith Rock. Before that festival, Garner was arrested in Central Oregon. Police say they found multiple handguns and a semi-automatic rifle in his car.
There was no indication that he had met up with somebody else to engage in this kind of behavior. Since he's in custody now, we don't believe there's any current threat to the public.
Garner is being held on a $10 million bail. We will update you in our evening newscasts about what happens today in court. Well, the next round of negotiations between Portland public school teachers and the district is set for Monday. If they cannot reach an agreement, teachers are prepared to strike next week on November 1st. Last night, teachers put together signs for a march this weekend. Some parents, like Christine Pitts, are frustrated that both sides can't come to an agreement. She's also upset about a letter signed by Grout Elementary School teachers sent to parents by the school's PTA. It says in part, quote, "PPS is organizing Chromebooks to be distributed to students for use during a strike. One easy way to show support for our teachers, students, and the Portland Association of Teachers community is to send a letter refusing to accept these resources during the strike." Pitts says that this crossed the line.
I just couldn't believe that we were being asked to refuse the one way that many students will be able to connect with their peers or online learning opportunities during a strike.
I understand how that could come off as concerning. I think it's important for parents to know that that message originated from parents.
Pitts says clearly not all parents share the same views. She wants everyone at the bargaining table to prioritize keeping students in school. Well, hey, it is a beautiful sunny fall Friday over the Rose City. Oh, just look at that live view from our Wells Fargo sky camera this noon hour. Let's check in with meteorologist Rod Hill. So, Rod, we do have some cold mornings ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to tie the clear skies, Brittany, that we have right now to the freeze warning in effect for Southwest Washington and the Willamette Valley and out into the gorge overnight tonight. It is beautiful, as Brittany mentioned. Look at that. Gorgeous blue skies. Cannon Beach right now, 50 degrees. Warmer than Portland. Portland has sunshine, and we are at 48. Again, these clear skies will be leading to a cold night. I have our high temperature this afternoon at 54. We'll be in the mid-40s at 8 o'clock. And here's the map that shows the freeze warning. Basically, everything shaded in blue here on the west side from Longview all the way down to Eugene. Also, freeze warnings up for the Dalles out into the Columbia Basin. This particular weather model goes 31 tonight from Longview down to Corvallis, 29 in Eugene, 30 out in Hood River, 19 degrees in Prineville. If you wake up to frost tomorrow morning, you may. It'll be the first time we've seen that here on the west side so far this fall season. Back to you.
All right, Rod, thanks so much. Well, some important progress in Washington to tell you about. The state has finally cleared its rape kit backlog. Attorney General Bob Ferguson said some 10,000 kits have now been cleared and sent for testing. Ferguson said that so far, kits which were gathered between 2002 and 2015 have helped solve at least 21 sexual assault cases, and that number is expected to grow. Survivors say it's a step towards making sure the past cannot be repeated.
What happened to me and what happened to the over 10,000 other survivors who tried to access justice never happens to a single survivor in Washington state ever again.
A special team started clearing that backlog in 2019 after a new law required the state to process rape kits within 45 days of receiving them. The TSA is now acknowledging that screenings at PDX failed to notice a pistol in a carry-on bag that led to a Washington state senator's arrest in Hong Kong. You see, Jeff Wilson, a Republican who represents Longview, flew from Portland to San Francisco last week, then boarded a flight to Hong Kong to begin a vacation with his wife. Wilson says he was mid-flight when he realized the pistol was in his briefcase. He notified authorities when he landed, and they arrested him for possessing an unregistered firearm. Wilson is due in court in Hong Kong for a hearing on Monday. TSA says it's now investigating how screeners missed this gun. Officers at PDX have caught 43 firearms so far this year. In Portland's Hollywood district, TriMet just broke ground on the first phase of a new project. It's meant to transform the area around the Max stop and bring in affordable housing. They'll begin replacing the existing ramp and stairs with a colorful new public walkway. And next summer, construction will begin on Hollywood Hub, a mixed-use high-rise at Northeast 42nd and Halsey with 224 apartments with income restrictions. Funding comes in part from the housing bond that Metro voters approved back in 2018. The Hillsborough Hops say Major League Baseball has extended a deadline to secure funding for a new ballpark. The team now has until March 15th of next year. The Hops need a new stadium to meet minimum standards set by Major League Baseball. It'll cost $120 million to build the new park, and they have most of the money, but they're counting on $15 million from the state. It won't get approved until the legislature meets in February. That's just days before this new deadline. If the team can't get the necessary funding, they would need to explore new options, which could mean a possible relocation.